Good afternoon. Welcome to another wonderful winning Wednesday. Let's get set up. Let's let others join in. Let's get ready to share some wonderful information for our small business owner community. I'm going to share this inside of the different groups and then we will get started. All right, I found it. All right, let's get started. So what we want to do is welcome you all to another wonderful winning Wednesday. It's spring, everyone. The temperature here in Virginia is, I would say, probably about a good 70-ish degrees. It's that time of the year where you don't have to have the heat running, as well as you don't have to have the heat running in the air conditioner. Just a little bit of ceiling fans and things of that sort that gets you through the day. It's nice and comfortable. This is probably one of the best times of the year. I actually like when we're going from winter into spring and then when we're going from fall into winter. Those are the times where you want to go out, just decompress just a little bit and just take a walk, have a good time. But let's get started. Last week we were having a conversation about things that happen around, getting you funding as a small business owner, right? But if you are a small business owner, you're just starting up, the best thing that, all of us have probably done is we've bootstrapped our business. And why did we bootstrap our business? Is because we went into a bank and we said to the bank, hey, you know what? I have this wonderful business idea. I have this great, wonderful business idea. Could you help me to fund it? And of course, the bank most likely replied negative. We can't help you because you have no cash flows, you have no revenues. If we do give you access to capital, we're going to ask you for a personal guarantee, right? All things that, yeah, you are willing to do, especially if you believe in your idea, right? You want to get it launched and off the ground. The great news, about business financing is there is a lot of funding options that are outside of conventional or traditional banks and SBA loans, right? Alternative financing is one of the best and most popular options available today. You can get business credit regardless of your FICO score or your personal situation. Now, the situation is going to be different for every single individual. So I'm sure that what is there for Tammy on your left is going to be different for John on your right. So that's why you got to give us a call here at VIP Business Credit, and we can have that conversation to understand which direction is going to be the one that's there for you. We actually just helped a cleaner who we were able to help him and get him uh, financing as well. So the conversation is going to be different depending upon who you are, what your business is. But I wanna, you know, send it out to the world that it is possible to have these things happen. That's why you have to educate yourself on what the process is going to be. So last time we talked about what it is going to take in order to get traditional financing with a bank. Vicky is a part of my BNI. I love her to death. She always has a smile on her face, right? But she's going to tell you no if you probably asked her for a line of credit if your credit report wasn't up to snuff. Great person. She has a wonderful personality, but it's not you. It's going to be business. The same thing, we bank with um a regional bank over here in Sterling. Don't want to say its name just because I don't. It's not bad, but when we wanted to get a line of credit, we had to give it a personal guarantee as well. So it is possible. One of the things that we have always cherished and done is we looked out for our personal credit at the same time. So that made it just a little bit easier for us. So let's dive deep into, well, what are some of these other alternative sources, right? Most alternative sources will lend you money based on your business's strength, right? One of the things we talked about is that just like how you have to go to the gym in order to get those muscles right and tight, right? If you have strength, you can be approved. One of the things that I know is that each funding source has a different approval criteria, right? So if you're going to go for vehicle financing, the criteria for a funding source is probably going to be different than if you were to go and look to purchase equipment, right? That's why you got to have that conversation. But also, that's why over the long term, you want to always be working on strengthening your corporate credit profile, right? And if you're doing that, you're going to have access to 100, 200, $250,000 line of credit or loans that will be available to you because the credit profile strength is strong. All right. When it comes to lending, some people go between whether or not if it's three or if it's five. I like to start out with these three. The three strengths you'll need one of to get approved is cash flow. And how can you document cash flow? You can document cash flow using 6 months of bank statements. Collateral, what is something of value that if you should not be able to repay the loan, that could be used to cover the repayment. And credit, good personal or business credit are the three C's of lending that you need to be familiar with because those are going to be impactful for whether or not if your business is able to thrive. No, not if your business is able to survive, not only thrive, right? Survival is the first thing. You got to make sure that you have oxygen. But what is living? You want to be living and thriving. That's the reason why we make this bet on ourselves, is because we want to thrive. So cash flow financing is one of the most popular types of business financing today. I have more conversations with more small business owners about cash flow financing. Most ads relating to getting business financing with bad credit and no startups is a form of cash flow financing. The most common types of cash flow financing are merchant advances, right? And business revenue financing, bar none. If you have a business and you can provide several months of statements showing that you have between $5,000 and $10,000 coming into that account, the approval can be up to 100% of the average that you're showing on those bank statements. If you have a business that is viable and is bringing in money, we can get you access to capital. It's an easy conversation to have, right? So cash flow financing qualification, let's talk about it. To get approved for cash flow financing, you'll need to be able to show 6 months of bank statements and merchant statements. Those bank statements must reflect that your business makes $120,000 in annual revenue. What is that? $10,000 monthly. Give me one sec. $10,000 a month in revenue. If you have a business that's viable and you can show that you have those types of cash flow coming in, this is the route that you want to go, bar none. We have gotten many small business owners approved using business revenue financing. That's the first place that I would go, because you can get that type of financing very easily. So, finance, cash flow financing qualification. You need to be in business for 6 months or more. Remember, 6 months of bank statements showing $10,000 a month. You'll need to have more than 5 transactions or deposits per month into your bank account. You can't have more than 10 NSFs. I would say zero, because one of the things that we talk about as you are preparing for your strengthening your corporate credit profile is that you want to be able to show that you can make payments on time. It's an easy formula, right? There's no complexity in the formula. How quickly can you pay your bills is going to determine the strength of your corporate credit profile, right? You should have some sort of balance left over at the end of the month. That's when we talk about the 3 9s, the 4 9s, and the 5 9s. What's the average account balance that you have inside of that bank account? It's typically best to have around the 4 9s. 3 9s might suffice, but I would definitely say that you would want to have 4 9s showing in the account at the same time. Cash flow financing, revenue lending, and merchant advances. Short term loan for 6 to 18 months. Loan amounts 10K to 500K. Loan amounts equal to 8 to 12% of annual revenue. Rates of 10 to 45%. 500 credit score accepted. No collateral requirement, right? So you only have to have one of the C's for cash flow, right? And you don't have to bring any collateral there, because we see what's coming into your bank account that's going to be sufficient in order to get you what you need. I hope that makes sense. The biggest benefit that we always say, why you want to be using your corporate credit profile versus your personal and bootstrapping your business, is personal credit isn't a big factor in qualification. If you're not currently in trouble, right, such as bankruptcy or having recent judgments or liens, this is the route to go. You can get money super fast in as little as 72 hours. Approval is easy, just as quickly as you can get your bank statements over. They can be reviewed we can get you that capital. We can get you that capital. So if you are a small business owner and you're wondering, how am I going to do this? Bootstrap that business, get the revenues up to $10,000 a month for 6 months. Come on in, we can get you financing. All right, you can easily renew your advance and get more money within 24 to 48 hours with the review of 2 months bank statements once you paid down 50% of your initial advance. You can get approved when you get denied with most other sources. This is just one of the most forgiving business lending opportunities available today. And I think I was touching on it, but we definitely want to keep our business finances separate from our personal finances, right? You don't want to have loans out personally, increasing your DTI for business expenses, etc. Right? Because then if you need to go and buy a house, now that you have a 10, 20, $30,000 loan on your personal side, that's going to affect your ability in order to get approved for that mortgage, to get approved for that vehicle. And why we love interest is, seventh or eighth wonder of the world. We want to reduce the amount of interest that we have to pay on any type of financing that we need. I think that to me just makes a whole lot of common sense, right? So we started out with cash flow financing. One of the best ones that I enjoy. I love having that conversation because it's an easy matter of show me the bank statements, we'll get you the money, right? But the next one that we want to have a conversation about is collateral-based financing. Acceptable collateral, right? Collateral-based financing, accounts receivables, stocks, bonds, and other securities, inventory, purchase orders, right? All of those things can be acceptable collateral for what you're doing. Equipment, if you have just purchased an equipment, that equipment has value, right? That could be used as collateral. 401ks can be used as collateral. And of course, real estate. Real estate happens because a mortgage is put onto that property and the property is covering the debt should there be a default, right? So let's quickly jump into some of these. And what I'm going to do really quickly is if there are any questions that anyone has, you can put them into the chat, right? Just letting you know, I'm putting it into the chat now. Any questions? So that way we capture it on across all of the other platforms as well, both YouTube and Facebook, right? And if we don't address the question that you have now, we could definitely address that question at a later point in time. So we were talking about collateral-based financing, accept the collateral, right? We talked about accounts receivable, stocks, bonds, and other securities, inventory, purchase orders, equipment, 401ks, real estate. All of those are acceptable for financing. Account receivable factoring. Up to 80% of receivables is forwarded, right? 1 year in business required. Must be receivables from another business or the government. The rate of 1.25 to 5% accounts receivable factoring, right? So if you have invoices that are going to be paid, those are account receivables, right? Now you can get a factor on that and get cash into your account. One of the best ways to do it. Security-based lines of credit, right? So 70 to 90% LTV, loan to value of the stock value, rates as low as 2 to 3%. It could also be used as a working capital line of credit. Challenge personal credit is okay, right? But if you need access for the money for your business, this could be a way that you go, right? We're just talking about the different options to get you over the hump, get you to the other side of the lake, right? So that you could probably make better decisions when you need access to capital that next time around. Inventory loans. Minimum inventory loan amount. Minimum inventory loan amount is 150K, right? General loan to value cost is 50%. Thus, inventory would have to be at $300,000 plus. No lump together inventory like office equipment. Rates are normally 2% monthly of the outstanding balance. Examples of companies that might qualify include a factory or a retail store, right? So if you have inventory, right, you need double that. The minimum inventory amount is 150,000, right? So the general loan to value that you could have is 50%. So that inventory needs to have a value of $300,000. But you can leverage that inventory for access to capital. I didn't know this before I dove deep into this space, right? But now I'm learning that there could be 40 plus different types of loans that are available to the community should they need it. This is definitely something that I feel a small business owner needs to understand in order to be able to grow that business, because having access to working capital is something that you definitely need. Purchase order financing, right? $200,000 in minimum existing purchase orders. Funds received are directly paid to the supplier. You can get up to 95% of your existing purchase orders advanced. You'll be issued a letter of credit. Does that make sense? Up to 95% of your existing purchase orders can be advanced, right? And you'll be issued a letter of credit letting them know that you have access to the capital. One of the things that I see quite often in the real estate space, which I am a big fan of, is 401ks or IRAs can be used up to 100% financing, rates usually less than 5%. You are basically investing your 401k into your business instead of buying stocks in other businesses, right? There are a number of different ways that you could do this. You can I think the name of the company a long time ago was Bender Trends, that would allow for me to take my legacy 401ks from past jobs. And that's usually going to be the caveat in order to get you there, is the fact that it has to be from a past employer, right? But it is possible. And they were going to help us to set up our own 401k plan when we were looking to start up a daycare business. It's possible. Yeah. You just have to understand who to work with and how you can actually go about doing that at the same time, right? You're basically investing your 401k into your own business instead of buying stocks in other business. There are no tax ramification based on proving IRA strategy. So you're not liquidating your 401k. You're taking a strategy that has no immediate tax ramification. Of course, I am not a specialist in this, but you would have to find one of the companies that can help you specialize in this. There are other things that you can do, such as a SEP. You can create solo 401ks. You can do self-directed IRAs. There's many different things that you could do to get access to capital. That's why, yeah, traditional banks, they're just looking at this from this model. The alternative funding sources are looking for ways that you could repay that without looking at it through that same model that the conventional and traditional banks are looking at it from. Commercial real estate, 50,000 to $10 million is the loan amount. Up to 75% loan to value LTV for refinances, 1 year to 30-year loans, depending on the program, rates of 7.99% and up. You need a 620 personal credit score for approval. Conventional and SBA 401 loans are available as well. So, what we're just having a conversation about today, are just giving you the different options that could be available to you should you need access to capital for your business, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to take the personal boots off for your business and get your business to be able to stand up all on its own, survive and thrive at the same time. So, last one that we'll talk about today, and we're almost down to the bottom half of the hour, is we'll talk about credit based financing. Credit based financing. The model that we used is unsecured business credit cards, right? Some people might call this credit card stacking, right? Approval amounts from 10 to 150,000, business credit reporting. So yeah, you might have to use a personal guarantee there. However, it's going to be reporting those transactions with the commercial reporting agencies, Dun and Bradstreet, Experian Commercial, Equifax Commercial. That's the name of the game. Excellent credit card, excellent personal credit with open revolving credit, low inquiries and utilizations under 30%. Approval amounts similar to current limits. The thing is, you could have from a 0 to a 25% APR, but you could also have 0 or 0% for 6 to 18 months. The thing about this is that there's usually going to be a fee, and the fee with that is usually, 9, 10, could be even 12%. You could also bring in a credit partner if you have difficult credit, and you will be able to use your credit partner in order to qualify for the unsecured business credit cards at the same time. So let me quickly look over here to see if we have any questions at all. But I just wanted to let all my small business owner friends know that don't give up. Don't give up. Get creative. If you can't walk through the wall, try to climb over the wall, try to go around the wall or go down just a little bit more so that you could actually be in a position where your child, your business is able to get access to the resources that it needs in order to be able to survive. At the end of the day, I think that that's the name of the game. We want to be in a position where we could have our businesses surviving, right? So let's close out for today, right? Contact us today to learn more about any of the financing opportunities that we spoke about earlier. We are VIP Business Credit located here in Loudoun County, Virginia, right? We're always happy to have a conversation with just about anybody about anything, right? But typically, what we want to do is we want to be in a position where we could help the small business owners to survive and thrive. Our phone number here is 571 248 3863. I repeat, 571 248 3863. We are VIP Business Credit. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with me today. Hopefully, you were able to get some value out of the conversation. I want to say thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next wonderful Winning Wednesdays, right? Because how you see the world is how you see the world, even though many things are going on outside and around it. But we hope that we were able to provide value today. So, up next, we'll be talking again at 4 p.m. on next Wednesday. Until then, have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day.